Good morning.
Hey guys, what a wonderful day in the neighborhood, huh?
Crazy is as crazy does.
Yes.
It's a full-time job. I mean,
well, of course, when you have, Watchtower's complete library of nonsense, right, Jane Doe?
exactly.
There's a lot to work with. Thank you, Watchtower.
Yeah, and it's the gift that just keeps giving. I had an email from Orlando this morning. Thank you, sweetie. Appreciate it. Now, we covered this, oh my goodness, it's been so long that I don't even remember what the name of the video was, but I know we covered it because I looked it up again in our book, and I had a post-it note, and it was marked with a paper clip, and some highlighting. So I know, we covered this before, but we want to cover it again just because we know there's a lot of you that are newly out, PMOs, and thank you for contacting me, by the way, and sharing your stories. Wow. But we thought this would be worth covering again because most Jehovah's Witnesses do not know about this, and it's just ludicrous. I mean, it's just nonsense. Okay, this is the first edition, 1972. And it is a book called Paradise Restored to Mankind by Theocracy. Oh, it just never ends. Page 353. Religious hypocrisy exposed. Jehovah, the God of the true prophets, will put all false prophets to shame, either by not fulfilling the false prediction of such self-assuming prophets, or by having his own prophecies fulfilled in a way opposite to that predicted by the false prophets. You mean 1975 never happened?
1914 never happened?
Yeah. The generation of 1914 would not pass away before the end. So, Watchtower is basically condemning themselves by what is written in here as false prophets. False prophets will try to hide their reason for feeling shame by denying who they really are. Or blaming the members for 1975?
This really recalls to mind the videos I did regarding the two false prophecies in Jeremiah and Ezekiel. In fact, if I recall correctly, the scriptures, coming, speaking from Jehovah's own mouth says, because you did not do this, I will get... Oh, wait a minute. Isn't that not the false prophet blaming someone else for a false prophecy? Look, guys, I did videos on that. Jeremiah and Ezekiel contain two false prophecies. But you know what I find very interesting about this particular paragraph that Kim's reading? Watchtower doesn't refer to those scriptures.
Well, what is really interesting is there's no scriptures in this paragraph at all.
No, it's just a bunch of blah, blah, blah from the Watchtower Babble Crap Society.
They will try to avoid being killed or being pronounced spiritually dead by Jehovah's loyal worshipers. Or they will fight tooth and nail the governments and the lawsuits to avoid being exposed for what they are. He foretold this by having his true prophet Zechariah continue on to say, wasn't Zechariah one of those that had a false prophet?
He had two false prophecies. Isn't it interesting though? Come on, guys, look. You have to comprehend. You have to see the irony in all of this. Is that in order for the Watchtower Babble Crap Society to come out with their 1984 edition of the New World Translation of the Holy Scriptures that's got all of the footnotes that we've all been referring to.
The large print reference.
The large print reference Bible. Watchtower knows. And they knew back then. Just like when we're all beginning to learn and realize that, Rutherford was a atheist. Until he started poring over the Bible and then he found the truth. No, I'm going to argue that right here and now. I think what happened is Rutherford became an atheist and he started poring over the Bible and said, yep, I can mislead people with this. I can mislead people with this. Oh, I can do this. And guess what? I'm going to get right in their face and I'm going to tell them exactly what I'm going to do by saying religion is a snare and a racket. Because you know what? It doesn't take a rocket scientist, Jehovah's Witnesses, to read over the Bible and see the control mechanism that is within its pages. Religion is a snare and a racket. And he told everybody bold-facedly, this is what I'm going to do. And he did it, and he became rich doing it.
Oh, yeah. Paragraph 24 on page 354. Thus, Jehovah foretold that his people in their land of restoration would be so well instructed with his word and would be so loyal to him in his true prophecies that they would refuse to be friends and intense lovers of any false prophet. So you mean they would lie to defend Watchtower? And they wouldn't go look up the information or do research about it. They just spew what Watchtower tells them to and make themselves out to be false prophets and liars? Like the song recently?
Hey, Jehovah's Witnesses, what color is that parrot that's on your shoulder? Because that's all you're doing is you're just parroting what you've been told to parrot without giving any thought or any research to whatever it is that you're saying.
Yeah. And then they go to talk about the visible wounds and scars would result. Such marks on his person, yes, on his breast, would be partly exposed, would betray his identity in spite of the fact that he had discarded official garments that he had assumed to wear as a bona fide prophet of Jehovah God. You mean when governing body Loesch was said they're still roving about? It says here, like I read a few minutes ago, would be so well instructed with his word and they would be loyal to him.
So well instructed, but yet you're roving about.
If you're so well instructed, then why do you have to flip-flop and change your, ideas?
If you're so well instructed, then why do you have to join the United Nations to get their frickin' library card? Wink, wink, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. We all know. Yeah, you're so well instructed you have to get someone else's library card. Do you people not see the hypocrisy coming out of these people's mouth?
Exactly. Well, the last sentence at the bottom of this page, they would place love of God and his inspired word above personal friendships with fleshly relatives or associates.
Well, that part's true because that's why they shun all of us. That's why they hate apostates. That's why they have to come out with articles that, in a roundabout way, they're saying, if it wasn't for the laws of the lands, we would stone apostates. Well, that goes right back to the old archaic thought. Heretics, burn them alive. Burn the heretics. It's the same mind cult. Religious cult control.
It just never ends.
Nope.
Now, I had done a video the other day and I had mentioned some things in the God's Love book, and the video was getting to be kind of long, so I didn't cover what I had come across and found when I was looking for what was in that video. So I have the book, and I also have the new updated one here on jw.org. If you go to the back, to the appendix, the end notes. Now in the this is the 2008 version. On page 216, they have about blood. And it's interesting because they have unacceptable whole blood, red cell, white cells, platelets, and plasma. And then they have Christians to decide. Fractions from red cells, fractions from white cells, fractions from platelets, and fractions from plasma. It's all still blood. And the thing is they don't like witnesses to donate blood, but yet where do you get these fractions?
Well, the thing is, Kim, for Jehovah's Witnesses, they absolutely refuse to see the value of their own illustrations because they cannot think for themselves because they're told, well, do you trust the faithful slave? So when something like this comes along, they don't sit back and say, wait a minute, that doesn't compute. Because every Jehovah's Witness knows that when you go from door to door and you're trying to convince somebody that if you find one false teaching in your religion that contradicts the Bible, you need to get out of that false religion because, the illustration is, you've got a glass of water. And if you had a drop of poison, would you drink the water? Well, obviously no. So that illustration can be used now with blood. See, Watchtower says that you cannot have whole blood. You violate God's law. Oh my God. You violate God's law. You can't take whole blood. But you know what? You can take 4 drops of that blood.
A fraction.
A fraction. Separate it. Put it in your body. Well, first of all, just a little bit of swirling around. Come on, Jehovah's Witnesses. Understand the value of your own illustrations. It's wrong to drink it whole, but once you separate it down into fractions, it's now a conscience matter. Think about it. It's not that difficult.
I know. Now, many of you know that we have been tracking property since 2014 being sold. And I want to thank everyone who sent me the link to this article. It's on jw.org. In the library series, How Your Donations Are Being Used. Successful construction before the pandemic. Now, it's interesting because they're talking about, everything that's been going on and, they need more RTOs, which are remote translating offices. And the Argentina branch and the Italian branch are getting ready to relocate, move into their new complexes. So we know those are going to be going up for sale. And when you scroll down to projects for the 2021 service year, we thought this was interesting and wanted to cover this. So this is where they are plans to work on 75 RTOs in Bible school facilities. How they're going to get around the COVID, lockdowns when Aunt Mo said, this may go on to 2022.
No.
I don't know.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't somebody like a Bart Ehrman go to a Bible education school and then he woke up to the nonsense? Isn't there a lot of ex-Christians that have gone to seminary schools and now do YouTube videos showing the inconsistencies of God's inerrant word?
Well, I even know of some Jehovah's Witnesses who have gone to Gilead School and Pioneer School and woke up during that school. It's like, oh my God.
So how are these schools really going to work out for you, Watchtower?
Okay. So going on with the article, it says, if circumstances permit, work will continue on 8 major branch projects. Now, we know before the pandemic, they were even got a loan from J.P. Morgan and were going to add on to the Temple Farms one in England. Including the New World Headquarters project at Ramapo, New York, which we know is the media center that they are building there, as well as the relocation of the Argentina and Italy branches. Additionally, more than 1,000 new kingdom halls are needed. Okay, now think about that. They say there's more than 1,000 new kingdom halls needed. More than 6,000 current meeting places are unsuitable and need to be replaced. meaning sold or tore down and built new ones.
Correct me if my numbers are incorrect, but didn't Let some time ago, like within the past 2 years, said we need like 66,000 Kingdom Halls, not sometime
14,000?
14,000, yeah. Not sometime in the future, but right now.
A recent analysis of the need for Kingdom Halls here in the United States showed that some 1,600 new Kingdom Halls or major renovations are needed, not sometime in the future, but right now. And worldwide, we are in need of more than 14,000 places of worship, not including ongoing future growth.
So you were successful in building 12, 13,000 of those Kingdom Halls, Watchtower? Is that what you're really saying now that you're saying you only need 1,000 more Kingdom Halls?
Well, look at this graph, which is right underneath what I just need. Because I'll finish the sentence first. And yet another 4,000 Kingdom Halls need to be renovated. So, Let was talking about general projects, either new Kingdom Halls or renovations. So they got that many done? I have to question that. Present needs. New Kingdom Halls needed, 1,179. Meeting places to replace, 1,367. Meeting places to replace.
What do you mean by meeting places, since, the line above it says new Kingdom Halls needed. Then you go to meeting places replace, and now look at the last one.
Kingdom Halls to replace, 4,672.
Now, wait. Let me see if I can kind of comprehend this a little bit. Isn't your meeting places dedicated to Jehovah anyway? So by extension, isn't that like a Kingdom Hall, since you go and talk about Jehovah's kingdom? I mean, so what the hell is the difference between meeting places and a Kingdom Hall, when even in the meeting places you still view them as Kingdom Halls?
Yeah, got to scratch our head over that one. But see, the important thing is more than 6,000 current meeting places are unsuitable and need to be replaced. So are we going to see 6,000 more Kingdom Hall and properties or meeting places put up for sale?
Now that recalls to mind the Hub video that we got so heavily criticized by some pseudo ex-Jehovah Witnesses.
Well, they said, even in there, that there was going to be a little over 3,400 properties being sold, and that was back in 2018. Well, we have proof of that, in our Watchtower property tracker. And for those of you who haven't seen, the list lately, I'm going to put the link down below because it's been updated. But let's also remind everybody that in the Australian article where they mentioned our Watchtower property tracker, Watchtower did a press release back to the news media and the redress scheme that any Kingdom Halls sold, that money was allegedly reinvested for new construction. Okay? This says more than 1,000 new Kingdom Halls are needed. But it doesn't say how much of the billions of dollars of Kingdom Halls and properties they have sold in the past, several years, how much of that was reinvested back into Kingdom Halls and projects. Especially if they had to get a loan from J.P. Morgan in Luxembourg for their addition onto Temple Farms.
You know what? That becomes ludicrous. So let me drink all 4 blood fractions at once.
Well, when you look underneath at the other graph, projected future needs based on growth. Big question mark there, since they haven't come out with the new service report yet. Annual new Kingdom Hall projects, only 699. How many have they sold this past year?
Let me drink to that. I want to drink all 4 fractions at once.
Annual Kingdom Hall renovation projects, a little over 2,000. So when Let said that, back in whatever year that was,
Not sometime in the future, but right now. Hey, the future is here, and those projected numbers of 14,000 are not showing up right here, Watchtower. They're just not showing up.
yeah.
Ay, 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 ay.
So they quote this Brother Gonzalez, a member of the Central America Branch Committee, answered, how is all this construction and renovation work funded? Well, they won't tell the Jehovah's Witnesses that a lot of it, they get loans from J.P. Morgan,
Right.
Bank.
Because business is good right now.
Yeah. In our branch territory, we have limited resources, so without the support of the whole Association of Brothers, it would be impossible to build translation offices for our indigenous fellow believers. The funds provided by brothers all around the world have made it possible to bring translators closer to the communities where their languages are spoken. We give our sincere thanks to our worldwide brotherhood for their generous support. Yes, these construction projects are possible thanks to your donations to the worldwide work. And then they have many of which are via donate.jw.org.
Okay, so I have a question. He says right here, so without the support of the whole Association of Brothers, it would be impossible to build transition offices for our indigenous fellow believers. Without the support of the whole Association of the Brothers, you're never going to recognize what this represents. Whether you take it whole or as infractions, you're still breaking perceivably God's law.
Yeah.
All you Jehovah's Witnesses, without the whole association calling bullshit, you're never going to find your freedom.
Yeah. Now, before we close, I just want to mention that I've been getting a lot of screenshots, and elders are now telling the members, do not go and Google search that Listen, Obey, and Be Blessed song because they don't want you to find out information on it, and they're actually telling the members that apostate websites will come up. Don't even go click on his song on YouTube, this Aled Jones, because apostate information comes up. Because they don't want you to read in the comments of what all of us are saying.
Right.
Yes, he got the legal rights to do this song, and there is a singer-songwriter that messaged us and sent me a 2-page email of details about this. And so we're gathering information, and she is getting her information together, and we're hoping to do a future video about this. But it was very interesting that, yes, he did buy the rights to the song. We don't know what the exact contract would be and how much royalties Watchtower would be getting. But I just want to say that even if it's $1 per download or per album, it could be worth millions of dollars.
Well, see then, Kim, doesn't that put a temporary patch on the cash flow issue that Watchtower has? So, friends, if the Watchtower Babel Crap Society finds a small measure of success in curing a cash flow problem by selling their copyrighted work to other artists, and Watchtower gets a little residual from that, then look for Watchtower to be selling more of their copyrighted work. And also, with that statement being made, also start looking for sometime in the future, because if this solves a cash flow problem, because we all know that the Kingdom Hall cash cow is dried up. Okay, and we all saw that coming forth with Sophia trying to give her, her ice cream money. Instead of buying the ice cream, I'm going to give it to Jehovah instead.
Well, that's the thing. If they're willing to take kids' ice cream money, don't you think they would be willing to sell the rights to their music and videos?
Because they were already signaling a cash flow problem, friends. Why? Because there's too many PMOs. There's too many PMOs inside a Watchtower. That cash flow has dried up. And this is what I've said before, and I'll say it again. Stop looking at this as a religion. Look at it from the perspective of business. Selling a copyrighted religious song to an interfaith dude or whatever solves a cash flow problem. So now they're into the movie production. Look for them to start selling their movies to other religions, because they're obviously moving into the interfaith realm.
Well, in fact, I read paperwork a while back about the Australia branch adding on a media center, and if I remember correctly, it was about 9 million Australian dollars. And in their application, it even says Christian-based videos and movies. So, they're laying the basis to do these Christian ones to sell the rights to other religions.
Because it's business. And it's good business to have human sacrifice.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for watching, and we'll try to keep everybody updated, and hopefully we'll get the information together to do the video
That's
about
gonna be good.
their song licensing and the rights to that and everything else. So you all have a wonderful day.
Bye.